With Coach Babers following a Tuesday practice that was brought into Ensley Center early on due to some rain outside. And Coach, I guess that's part of the deal here in training camp, right? Adapting on the fly to the elements and various things you might throw at the team.
Well, you know, we stayed out there for a while. Rain started to come down, and that's good. You know, the receivers get to work on wet grass, quarterbacks get to throw a wet ball, and the centers get to snap a wet one. But then the thunder and lightning start to kick up, so it's awesome that we have an indoor like this that we can go to, and of course we want to take advantage of it.
You're probably trying to split the difference, right? You want some of that experience, but you also have work to get done. So when you set out today, what was on the agenda to accomplish as what I would imagine is the middle part of training camp here is really the lull to get guys through? You
know, you really want to get guys to go. You know, there's guys that want to sit out, there's guys that don't want to go, and this is, people call it a grind. We don't call it a grind, we call it a find. This is where you find where you're at, find out where you're at, and just keep your head down and keep working. And before you know it, camp will be over. But you know, you got to get after them a little bit. It's like your kids trying to get them to take out the trash on time. Sure. You got to get after them a little bit.
Well, you got to offer them something sometimes to do that. Now, the first week of camp, there's a huge adrenaline rush to get going and have your team together. And in the last week to 10 days, you're preparing for Western Michigan and a road trip. How do you navigate that middle? And I guess that's what you're talking about. It's where you find out who really wants to play.
It's the mental toughness part of it. It's the part that makes football different than everybody and than everything else. And it's the part I enjoy. I mean, when you get up and you're tired and you're really trying to think of an excuse why not to, and then you start thinking about that prize at the end of the road, and you got to just get going. So we're going to push through it. We're going to be okay. When we come out of it, we'll be all right.
You got a couple of guys here and there that are rotating and might miss a practice or two, and I think you said as much on Saturday coming off the scrimmage. That's not unforeseen. Where are you in terms of the overall health of your team, and if a guy's not playing right now, what's it mean?
You know, I would say that it's about an average camp. I wouldn't say that we're as healthy as we'd want to be, but we're definitely not devastated as much as we could be. So I think we're right in the middle, and we've got some guys that are, you know, that need the work, and they need to come back and they need to get their reps in if they're going to be really a big part of this football team.
And last one for me for today, Coach. We can see over the course of camp here you're working on combinations, defensive backs, linebackers, maybe switching on the offensive line here and there. When do you feel like you need to have that locked in to get ready for the game?
We think we can finish out this week and doing all those things you're talking about. That's a good eye by you, Matt, by the way. All the things that you talk about, and then after our second scrimmage on Saturday, that's when we really settle guys down. We built the flexibility that we want for the football team, and we'll start to solidify some of those things and let them really get comfortable doing what they're doing.
Will there be anything different in the scrimmage Saturday in terms of format or expectations than we saw this past week?
The big thing is we won't go ones versus ones because we'll go ones versus twos, and if the two is going to make a move, he's going to have to make it against a really good player to prove to us that he should be a part of the lineup.
Understandable. Looking forward to it. Also, the Fun Fest on Saturday for the fans to come out and try their act against the team as well. So, Coach, we'll catch up with you then, okay?
Thank you, Matt.
Orange head coach Dino Babers. And as always, we invite you to click on Cuse.com for our continuing coverage of training camp.